YouTube? You already know me. It's your girl, Chicomie Bang Easy, and I am back with another YouTube video. Y'all, I am back with another one. I've been gone for a minute, but I've been in school. So I really haven't had as much time, even though I have videos that are backed up, like a vlog, my hair color video. So I don't know why I keep doing sit down talk videos. I don't know why it feels easier to edit. But just make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. You feel me? We're on our way to 400 subscribers. I love y'all. And today I just thought I would make a simple video because, like I said, I've been gone for a minute. I just came home from school on story time on how I found out I had stage 5 kidney failure. You feel me? So let's get into it. Okay, and no, it's not funny, but I'm a happy person and I'm uplifted, and it's my situation, you know. So it's just like I have the right to feel how I feel. And sometimes laughing is a way that I express things. But I'm in a good mental health state. So it started off in, I'll say, okay, so I graduated high school 2016. So I was diagnosed with kidney failure. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you how I found out. So it was like 2015 going into 2016. And I was already thick, girl, you feel me? I've been thick since I came out the womb. But I noticed, like, the summer 11th grade year I was at summer school, I noticed that, like, I was gaining all this weight. But I wasn't eating because my stomach was it was hurting so bad. It was so nauseous. So I had went over a friend's house for like around 4th of July and I spent the night. So I thought I had got food poisoning because my stomach was like hurting so bad. Like I was throwing up in the morning or I couldn't eat. So that's why I was very confused. Like, how am I gaining all this weight, but I'm not really eating, like, you know? And a lot of people around me were just saying, like, stop eating. Maybe you just eating too much. And it was kind of just like, you know, I'm not going to say I was insecure because I've always loved myself. But, like, you know, we all have something we battle, which is my weight. So I was just like, okay. But I'm telling everybody, like, I'm not eating. So I don't understand. That's how bad my stomach was hurting. So, I was like wearing Nike slippers to school, like summer school at one point, because my feet were swollen so bad. Hint again, like nobody took me to the doctor really because they were just telling me to stop eating, or they thought I was eating too much salt. And I kind of thought that, but I was sick. So I knew I wasn't eating nothing. So I was just like, okay, whatever. But I was at my aunt's house and my aunt took my blood pressure. But keep in mind, I've always went to the doctor. My mother and father has always had me go to the doctor to get checkups, to get blood drawn, all that typical normal stuff. So I was just, you know, it was kind of weird. But when my aunt took my blood pressure at her house, it was like sky high. And she saw that my feet were swollen and all this stuff. And my friends and stuff were like telling me to go to the doctor, but I was scared because I don't know why. Like I didn't want to find out something that I knew, like I had diabetes, or like I didn't know. I was just really scared to go to the doctor because I could tell a physical change like in my body. So I was very afraid. Like my eyelids were puffy. I'm like, oh my God, like what are they gonna tell me? Like, so I went to that's after one night. And I also remember one night going to camp. And it was just like I said, y'all, I'm a trooper. Like, I feel like I'm very resilient. But I was at a Christian camp in Palomar, California. And, or was it just called Camp Palomar? I don't know. I think it was in Palomar, California. Yeah. And we were just there and we were like hiking up hills and like doing a lot of stuff for somebody who would have had signs of kidney failure. So we were doing a lot, and it was like a lot on my body with it being swollen, having water all around my lungs and all that type of stuff. So I remember one night, like we were all going to sleep, and I was just very afraid to go to sleep because it felt like something was sitting on my chest, like, and I was asking everybody for Tylenol, like it was gonna make it go away, but like I was just in pain. Like it would be times when my back would cramp up all the time, and that's where your kidneys are located. But without me having no knowledge, I was always getting like cramps in my lower back, my lower abdominal. So I just didn't know really what was going on. So my mom finally took me to the doctor after my aunt took my blood pressure, because she was like, no, Vince, that's my mom's name, she needs to go to the doctor. Her blood pressure is like sky high, her feet are swollen, like. So I went to the doctor, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. They took blood. They was like, are you pregnant? I'm like, no, like, I know I'm not pregnant, like, for a fact. They were asking me if I had diabetes, no. High blood pressure, no. So other than me saying that, they were like, okay, we're gonna test you, because of course that's the most easiest way. So I had to pee, I had to take blood, and it took hours and hours. So they were just asking me about my symptoms, and I'm just like, yeah, my stomach is nauseous, like I be having cramps, sharp pains. I haven't been eating, but I've been gaining excess weight. So they really didn't know what was going on. So they made me go take an ultrasound, like while waiting to get my blood drawn and all that stuff. Like, so, and I'm just like, let me take an ultrasound for, like, I was like, I know I'm not pregnant for the fact of that, like, you know. And then they were just like, you know, mom was like, no, still for reasons. They want to know, and they want to make sure, you know, you can also see other things that's going on inside of you. Like, I'm like, okay, whatever. So I went, and they took ultrasound. So after a long day, probably like 6 hours at the urgent care waiting, I went home from the ultrasound, from the pee test, from the urine, from the blood drawn, and then we get a call, like, they're like, you need to hurry up and go to the hospital. So I'm at home. Like I said, I remember like what I was eating. I made some spinach and egg whites. Because I was trying to be skinny. I thought I was fat. I was hella scared that the doctor was going to tell me something I did not want to hear. So come to find out, they rushed me to the hospital. They told me they found blood in my urine, protein in my urine, yes. And that was a sign of, you know, something was wrong with my kidneys, because, you know, that was leaking. My kidneys were leaking protein and blood. So they rushed me to the hospital. What was going through my head? Like, I just didn't really know. I was confused. Like, I mean, not confused. When you don't really have knowledge on something, you're not really afraid. I was just of shock, because I've never been to the hospital for like anything. So the fact that they were just like rushing me there, I was just like, okay. And they were just, you know, they didn't really tell me too much in the beginning, which I respect. And to add, y'all, I'm sorry, I didn't really explain what happened. I had an immune deficiency. My immune system, I have a very, like an immune disease called FSGS, Phlogmental something. And my white blood cells were attacking my red blood cells. So I had an immune deficiency disease that caused my kidneys to be very weak and collapse, because it couldn't handle all that. Back to the video! Just doing all their research on me. They kept me in the hospital for like a week. They did a kidney biopsy. They took a kidney biopsy where they took a little piece of my kidney to test it. And that's when they found out that my kidneys were collapsing. Trying to hold it together. And in that time in my life, I was just like, you know, all right. My grandma was like kind of sick at that time, my dad. So I was in a hospital, like, and that was probably the most time I ever was like that vulnerable to people, like all up on my body, touching my body, every day. It was just, and I kind of knew something was wrong when they like kept me for a week, and they really couldn't tell me what was wrong with me. So, long story short, after they kind of found out all of that stuff, I remember I passed out in the hospital. But after they found out all that stuff, I started seeing the doctor, and they just told me like I had like I had nephrotic syndrome. That's when your kidneys were collapsing. So I really didn't know that much of kidneys, but when I started looking into research, you know, I was more informed. But I really didn't want to know about it, because once you know about something, you're informed. Like, you know what's finna happen, you know what the deal is, you know all of that. So I didn't want to know, but it was like I had to, because I had to stay up on my health. My kidneys went from functioning to 50% to 20% to 15%, 14%, 10%, 4%. So I was walking around with both of my kidneys on 4%. And I really did not want to get on dialysis because I was just trying to wait to get my, have my kidney transplant. I didn't really know, like, at the time for sure who was going to, like, give me a kidney. I had a lot of, like, options, which is, I was a blessing. A lot of people were really grateful. A lot of people, like my brothers, my sisters, even one of my younger cousins offered, even though she wasn't 18. People at my church. But my dad was a perfect match because he was my father and me and him had the same blood type. So I was very blessed for a courageous father to be in my life, to have stepped up to give me a chance at second life. So, and it was stressful too because it wasn't just me. It was just like my dad's a little older. My dad's having to, give me one of his kidneys. Like, how would that affect him and his health? Like, I was stressed out too. I always felt like I owe him something still. So it's just that. But I just know he loves me to death. To death, he loves me. And I know my dad will do anything for me. I just skipped the whole process of how, like, I was on dialysis. Probably because I keep looking at it's 10 minutes, but I don't think this video should have a time limit. Low key, I always give myself time limits, but I really wanted to talk to you guys today. I don't know why. Maybe because I never told this story. And that was my first time, like, seeing my parents very, like, they handled it well. They didn't let me see themselves like angry or sad, but I saw it, but I didn't see it, if that makes sense. It affected me because I saw it, but they were trying to kind of act like it didn't, but it's like I knew it was. So, like, I wanted to stay strong for my family as well. I didn't want to have them see me, like, in pain or, like, crying or I was isolated for sure. Isolation was one of my best friends. I liked being alone a lot, still do to this day. But I was on dialysis. This is my dialysis port. They had something here that connected here, and they stitched it down to my body, so you can basically see everything. This is like a natural tattoo of how they stitched it here, stitched it here, stitched it here, and then this is a vein. So they had a tube going in my vein that filtered all my blood out and cleaned my blood. Cause I could have died. It's either you had a kidney transplant or on dialysis. That was your only option. If I didn't do dialysis, I would have died. And that was a harsh reality because I really didn't want to. I don't want to cry. Tough up. I'm trying not to cry. Didn't want to. I was really scared. Tough up. I've been practicing trying not to cry. I had to tough up because when you want treatment, that's a point in your life where you was like, oh, I need this to survive. Like, normally I'm like, of course I need my parents. I depend on them, but like in my life, I'm very independent. So I had to depend on that treatment to keep me alive. So it was something different and I didn't want to do it. I was afraid. I looked online so many times of like the procedures. How would you have to get it? And I'm like, there has to be another way, like, But I feel like that turning point of me having to be on dialysis, transitioning, I feel like that's where my strength came, because that was an obstacle where I really didn't want to do, but then when I did it, I was like, what else can I handle? Like, So that was a turning point, I feel, for me, stepping on that obstacle, because I was really trying to avoid it. And I did dialysis for 10 months. Ooh, I'm lying. 8 months. I was on dialysis for 8 months. And as me being young, I wouldn't be able to normally, you're very sick, you're not be able to eat, very dizzy. I was driving myself to dialysis and I would drive myself home after dialysis. But overall, it wasn't that bad. Not like that, but like that. Like when I say it like that, I mean it. I mean, it was what it was, but I would never take it back because that's who I am and it made me, and I'm healthy today. And sometimes it's hard because I can't like lack. And what I mean by lack is like normally when people live, they get to just live, go to work, go to school. Like I really have to focus on my medications and picking them up and taking them on time. So like that's the only thing that really like happens to me. Like I depend on medicine. My life depends on it. And I have to take it for the rest of my life. Like literally the rest of my life I have to take medication. So those are the certain things that, you know, that was hard for me at the beginning. It was just like, why me? Like, but honestly, now that it's over, like, it really don't feel like it happened. But I'm just gonna stop talking because, yeah. And that was just a story time on how I found out I had stage 5 kidney failure. How I was on dialysis for 8 months, and my dad blessed me with his kidney. And by the way, you guys, my dad's doing really good. He's doing really healthy.
What? Did you just say he's doing really healthy?
I be on him too about him drinking a lot of water because he has 1 kidney and I have 1 kidney. And so it's very important to stay hydrated. Happy kidney is a healthy kidney. So make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I am going to be doing a what's on my iPhone video right after this. So make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And show me some love on my social media, period, point blank.